So, reports over the last week or so, growing every day, that AC Milan, one of the biggest teams in world football, one of the most nostalgic teams in world football, apparently they want Djan Kulusevski of our very own Tottenham Hotspur. Now, we love transfer rumours. It's what football fans love. We love hearing about it. We love talking about it. Some have got more weight and impetus than others. But let's have a look at this one. And interested to know, what do you guys think? Does this carry any water? And we're going to look at this from the AC Milan perspective, as well as the perspective of Tottenham Hotspur and Kulusevski himself, because it's been very interesting since Kulusevski joined Tottenham Hotspur, and it's been quite a while now. If we're going to be brutally honest about this, Kulusevski first came to Tottenham back in 2022, right, in the January. So he's been here now for nearly he's done 3.5 full seasons for Tottenham with varying degrees of success. Some people really elevate him to being one of the best midfielders in the country. Other people, like myself, think, yeah, he's a good player, no more, no less. But let's have a look at it. Let's have a look and get into why would Milan want him? And why would he want to leave Tottenham? I'm not saying he does. I'm just asking, why would he, if at all? And again, when I do these videos, I think people get confused as to my opinion on, yeah, Milan are definitely buying Kulu versus let's have a look. Let's see what's out there in the news. So what do we know? Well, I'll tell you what. As soon as you finish watching this video, Google Kulusevski AC Milan. And there are so many publications out there. So many media outlets, publications have put out posts talking about Kulusevski. Some of them are talking about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, of course, one of the greatest players of his generation. He is now an advisor to the AC Milan board and is heavily involved in the transfer incomings and outgoings. And some of them are saying that he is obsessed with Kulusevski. And I do like it when they add these superlatives to make it just a little bit more spicy, but obsessed with Kulusevski. Now, for me, I think Kulusevski absolutely fits the Italian league. I think the Italian league's a very good league, very good defensively, but it's not as quick. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not going to get into a debate about Premier League versus Serie A, but when I look at Kulusevski, I think technically very talented, but he's missing that pace. He's missing that ability for me to drive away from people. A very technically gifted footballer. Of that, there is no doubt. But I can see why he would suit AC Milan. Now, Ibrahimovic wanting him, I don't know. I don't know Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I wish I did. I think that would be a really funny night out, wouldn't it? Going for dinner with Zlatan. Imagine that. But when we break this down, what other possible reason could there be? Now, some people are saying that AC Milan are also trying to get Fabio Paratici. And of course, we did a video yesterday on him possibly coming back to Tottenham. But what if Paratici was to get the role at AC Milan? We know that Paratici has already taken him from Juventus, his old club, to Tottenham, which was then his new club. So we know that he likes the player. We know that he has a good relationship with the player. So you could put 2 and 2 together there and get 4. But as I said yesterday, you could put 2 and 2 together and get 444. But that aspect of it makes sense. The playing style for me makes sense. It's a league that he knows. He's played in the Italian league for quite some time. Well, let's have a look, shall we? Because Kulusevski, let's have a look. If we bring up his Wikipedia page, what do we know about Dejan Kulusevski? Well, he's 24 years of age. He's about to turn 25 in 25 days, actually. He's going to turn 25 in 25 days. So he's an experienced player now. He's no longer a young player coming through. He is an experienced player. Some might think 25 is your peak, 26, something like that. So this is an experienced international Champions League footballer. So there's no, oh, he's young and he needs time. He is ready to go. But if we actually have a look down here, shall we? Let's have a look at what he's done. So we can see here that between 2018 and 2022, he did play in Serie A He did play in Serie A for well over 100 games, scoring 9 goals between Atalanta, Parma, and 2 years at Juventus. So he's got experience already at 3 Italian clubs. He knows the Italian league very well. So would that be enough draw for him to leave the Premier League and to go back to Serie A? Because when we look at his time at Tottenham Hotspur, and again, when I say this, there are going to be people that love him. There are people that go in raptures about Kulusevski. He's our best player. He's this. He's that. And again, as you know, I don't get overly excited by footballers as easy as some do. I think he's a good footballer. Now, the question would be, would Spurs miss him? The question would be, would Spurs sell him? The question would be, would Spurs replace him? Now, I think there's many footballers out there you could replace Kulusevski with. However, being a long-suffering Spurs fan like all of you, we always have that niggling doubt, don't we? But will Spurs replace that player? Can the scouting team find someone as good as Kulusevski or better? Now, we could all sit here now, and if I asked you right now, give me names, chuck me names, you're going to get people who go, oh, I want Mbeumo, I want Vissa, I want Bakayoko, I want yada, yada, yada. We could keep going. I want this player from this country and this winger and this. Sure, we can all do that. But do the Tottenham Hotspur scouting team and director of football, as it stands with Lang and his team, do they have that capability to find those players? Up-and-coming stars, maybe 22, 23 years of age, even a bit more senior. Do we have that scouting expertise? So that's always going to be the big thing for me. Because, and again, I think a lot of people, we'll come back to this in a second, a lot of people always get me wrong when I'm talking about football. So, for example, if you said to me, Kulusevski's going to leave Spurs tomorrow, I wouldn't lose sleep. I think he's okay. I think he's a good player. There's nothing where I go, oh my gosh. It's not like this is Luka Modric or Gareth Bale. This isn't Berbatov or a Carrick. This isn't losing Musa Dembele or Carl Walker. This isn't losing Harry Kane. Kulu, he's good, right? But the flip side to that, as I've said, it's will we buy someone better? And there's always that heart versus the head. As a football fan, yeah, good footballer. But do I go in raptures about him? No. He's good. I don't go overboard. Let me know what you think. I think he's had a very indifferent time at Spurs. Let's go back to this. If we actually look here, I think when you can see when he first joined Spurs, that 18 games when he came in, that 18 games in the league and 20 games in all competitions, he came in and listen, him and Bentancur added something different to Conte's team, didn't they? And we got 4th place in the league. And they hit the ground running. They were brilliant. Kulusevski especially, as the 3rd part of the Kane-Son Kulusevski trio, I thought was excellent. The 2nd year, you could see he had a massive drop-off. 37 games, only 2 goals in all competitions. Now, we can attribute that to whatever you like. But Conte was there for most of that season, couldn't replicate the form. Then last season, if we're purely going to go on goal contributions, 8 in 39 for a midfielder, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not amazing. It's not too bad. Decent. And then this season, so far, 42 and 10. Again, not too bad. Decent numbers. But away from the numbers, I've always felt with Kulusevski that he's very much like this. I've always felt that he's very much like that. It seems that he has purple patches. Now, a lot of footballers do. And for me, the difference between a top quality player and a good player is top quality players don't tend to just have purple patches. They tend to be good more often than not. Kulusevski, for me, doesn't fall into that bracket. I think he's a good footballer. Before anyone says, oh, Sava hates Kulu, I don't think he's a good player. But I think we've seen it this year. I thought he had a brilliant start to the season, tailed off massively. Now, I agree. Granted, you could put some of that down to him being flogged like a dead horse. I get it. But I think he's been like that for the 4 years that he's been in. Some really good spells, followed by some really bad spells. And he's the same as Bentancur in that respect, same as Romero. And it feels like it's a Tottenham disease, isn't it? Some players come in, good spells, bad spells, good spells, bad spells. And it kind of mirrors Tottenham as a football club. But the question you have to ask yourself is this. Would he fit in at AC Milan? Would you be happy to let Kulusevski go? Do you trust the board to find a replacement? I like Kulusevski. I do. I do like Kulusevski. You have to look and say, is he a winger? Is he an attacking midfielder? Well, for me, I think he has his uses out wide, but also you get to see his negatives when he's out wide. You get to see that. It's that lack of ability to go past a player, that pace, but can be very effective at cutting inside, getting a shot away on his left foot. Attacking midfield. For me, I like him in there. I do. I do think he gives the ball away a hell of a lot. He's dispossessed a lot. But some will say, well, that's what happens when a player tries to create. The dilemma you've got there for me is how do you get both Maddison and Kulu into that area? And I think that's always going to be a bone of contention, isn't it? With Tottenham Hotspur, and especially in these tactics. But Kulusevski, the last thing I'll say on this for the last minute, maybe Kulu is looking and saying, well, hang on, Romero wants to go, if true. Spurs are just signing kids. Romero wants to go. Sonny might be on his way. Maddison's not happy. Maybe there's a bit that he might not be happy. And this is the problem. It's all well and good fans going, just keep backing a manager that's losing. But a losing culture means players don't want to be it. A losing culture means that the first sign of affection a player gets from another club, and that head is turned like that, isn't it? So there's a lot to consider here. For me, we'll wait and see in the summer. Does a bid come? I think it makes sense as a rumor, if we call it that. I think there is legs to this. I think that they will try and get him. Whether they do is a completely different question, and it's the transfer game we all know and love. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of Kulusevski? And without going crazy, like, you know, some people go, he's world class. He's not world class. What do you think of him? How good is he? Yeah, 25. He's 25 in 25 days. I think he should have done more for the way that he's talked about by fans. But you let me know what you think. Please like, please subscribe. We're so close to 17K. Thank you very much. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.